Mrs. Betty Marsden is an environmental activist. She's been a member of the Save the Dandenongs League since the 1970s and was a councillor with the former Shire of Sherbrooke from 1981 to 1986. In this recording, Betty talks about her tireless efforts to conserve the natural environment in her local area, including her advocacy for the purchase of Bird's Farm in Belgrave South by the Shire of Sherbrooke in 1981, which is now Bird's Land Reserve. Betty was interviewed by Kitty Owens from the Yarra Ranges Regional Museum with assistance from Carolyn Ebden from Save the Dandenongs League in 2023.
I was born on the 23rd of August 1930 and I've lived in the Dandenongs since 1971. My father met my mother at a guest house in Emerald and that's where they spent their honeymoon. And we all loved the place, so in the end we decided, well, we could perhaps try living here. It can be very inconvenient, but still probably worth it. We're fairly close to Sassafras Creek, and if you like nature and scenery, it was a nice place to choose to live. I'd always worked, but there was no jobs up there, apart from working in cafes and whatever, which wasn't my thing. You know, there wasn't jobs for me. My half-sister put me on through Grace Moon to May Moon, and I think I rang her up. And so I joined the league. It wasn't very expensive, and I joined the league. And when May Moon died, they just all disappeared. I remember one of them saying to me, "We're looking for someone to do rather a lot of work." And someone said, well, that was a tactless thing to say to you. It was really. But I think when I first joined, I sort of realised I knew nothing when it came to, you know, what they did. And I remember reading bits of planning schemes and things like that to understand land use planning, because that's what it's all about, really. Land was cheap, and all of a sudden there were people, you know, wanting to build houses here, there and everywhere, and alarm bells started ringing with not just the people on the committee, but other people ringing up the league and saying, you know, what can you do? And so Dandenongs were threatened. So I was on a steep learning curve, but I wanted to learn, and I could naturally write a reasonably good letter and that sort of thing. And we tried to keep a watch on what was going on and put in a submission or an objection or occasionally a letter of support. People don't understand if you're not happy with something to do with council, well, you should consider whether you could do it yourself, but also look around for people that might be interested in doing that sort of thing. And you certainly needed some to be pulling towards the conservation side of it. I joined the council in 1981.
And what were the council decisions that you feel like you influenced?
To buy Bird's Land, I think, was one of them, because it was a very large farm that had a creek through it. And I said, if you're thinking of spending all that amount of money, whatever it was, don't do that, buy Bird's Land. It was very hard to get the numbers. They used to say I was good at counting heads, because you'd be going around thinking, who's going to vote here? And, you know, you had to be able to think clearly and not just be emotional. You had to be able to give clear, good reasons for whatever it was that you were putting forward. It was a lot of money, but it wasn't, when you consider what it wasn't such a lot. And people come out there and have picnics, and you can go for a walk. If you tried to sell it now, you have all the people down that area would all rise up as one.
Do you have any advice for young people in getting involved in conservation?
Conservation has come up, you know, it's gradually risen up in importance, that it's not so hard to argue a case as it might have been once. But just take an interest in what's going on and give it some thought. But still, you just still need to be ever vigilant, I suppose, and you need to keep the numbers up on actual councillors that have got an interest in understanding of the environment.